Hello everybody. We're beginning to have more regular hangouts as it is. We can't necessarily do every night of the week, but we're quite regularly having these hangouts. So I thought I would just put these people on, although Craig's in my group, so is Oliver. Oh, so is Martin actually. These are really like our guests, okay, for this hangout. But what I decided to do was this is part of the hangout. Anyway, I hope you enjoy.
Problem. At least trying to, of course, they failed with
well, I think
poor
you're breakthrough. It was the same sort of thing here, and everywhere else, because it was like the same.
Yeah.
It was Anunnaki, Planet X, ancient aliens, as you know, thing on the internet for a hit, probably aliens. For part of a decade, so program, you just need to get more information if you could translate some of the essentials to get them into the thinking.
I do the most I can. There just needs to be more channels, kind of medium-sized channels like mine.
Can I explain one more thing just before you go on, Oliver? You might not realise it, but it's going to be a speaker at aren't you coming to the UK Convention conference? Oliver.
Yeah, I'm speaking with Gary.
Martin will be there. Martin will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get to meet you. That'd be cool.
Great. That would be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, mate. Nice one.
Hopefully Craig can come along as well.
Who?
Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. That'll be good.
So it's another reason why Oliver's starting to join us on some of these hangouts. He's going to be a speaker. Oliver's got a lot to say.
Yes, he has. Excellent theories. I haven't heard anything about this existing light. I haven't seen it through. That's very intriguing.
I'll send you my one, Martin. I'll send you my video.
Okay, look. So interesting.
I mean, when I saw it, it was just... And...
When you realise it, you mean?
And it was...
But listen,
my perspective, he did a video about it like 1 year ago or more, and his videos are excellent. He deleted them all,
They re-uploaded it in debug.
Yeah, I know. A guy redid all his videos, which I thought was great.
Well,
His videos are just so good.
Anyway, if you think about it as well, listen, when there are clouds there. I mean, not you, Oliver, because you get me lots of sunshine, but okay, we're cloudy a lot of the time. There's no sun because the sun is caught behind the clouds, but you can still see. You can see everything here.
Yeah, exactly.
You've ever seen a full eclipse when the sun is completely blotted out and everything just cut off completely. Everything goes an icy cold when it happened back in the 90s. Yeah, all right, it was eerie in the twilight, but it was.
Yeah. But it's when you suddenly realise that the balloon camera was actually no sky at all. No sky. Not up there. And the sun's in the black.
There's something there because you also can't see the stars when you're up. So that's definitely something going on there.
Well, me and Series, I remember I think Dee was there, we watched a couple of videos where on a time balloon and you could see the stars. Didn't it, Series? But again, it's a night camera. It made you feel like you were lying in the stars. Series?
Well, also kind of in a bubble, in that center, it's all around you. You can see.
What I mean is, it wasn't that the stars were still up there. That camera was actually some of the stars. It felt like stars.
Aaron,
yeah.
When I came back from Jamaica,
yeah,
we had a night flight back, only my camera with me, and I was good. I couldn't video anything out the window. I was looking, and I couldn't even see the stars. I got my cardigan put over my head, put it to the window, and it was like we were flying through the stars. It was like they were all around us. It was amazing. But I couldn't see them without this card over my head.
All right.
Really?
I couldn't video it. I tried to, I couldn't even video it. But when I got this thing over my head, so it was black to the window, we were just flying through the middle of all the stars.
Because I don't think they're as high up as people think.
No, I don't think.
No, I don't.
They cannot be, because if you can focus with a
Camera.
P900, it means that they're not.
Also, there's two companies in Chile who are making stars, and when it is machinery higher, but they're higher than 60 miles, they get to work.
Mm-hmm. Stimulating the sodium layer
Yeah.
with lasers. That's how they create stuff.
I think it's stars are, I don't know, 100 miles up. I mean,
into the, what we think is the canopy or the firmament, as a sort of aesthetically classed cells. You get to a certain height, they just disappear. I know that you can see them, but and you say you from this high 100-foot bloom stars, but do you see it? You can see way above and this intensity of stars. NASA are not showing us this. NASA on the moon's surface.
Most of the time, the Earth isn't even.
In fact, what I discovered with this video now about the blue marble is that actually, Robert Simon, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Mr. Blue Marble guy. He admits in an interview, if you will, he admits that the blackness, the black background that they put in the blue marbles is fake. It's not space. It's not devoid of space. He admits it's Photoshop background.
Because we have to.
Right. Because what they have is the blue marble is a transparency, that the background exists, it's transparent like Photoshop, and then they put the black background in, so it's quite ridiculous.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, they can't create the real one because that's the one they tried.
Right. If they could snapshot the Earth space, they would need to fake the background, right? They would just snap the Earth and show us. They wouldn't need to stitch it together from composite images. They wouldn't need to add a background in Photoshop. They would just have to photo one shot, one snapshot, and that's it, and just show it to us as is.
Wouldn't it be good? Not going to happen.
But not going to happen.
The way they do it, because all the complete composite together makes it a complete square. Funny. I mean,
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean,
first people where they'll come, and then from there they do all the other. And then they call it the first original photographic projection, maybe. I mean,
right, because that's another one. Because
on one,
is the Earth actually a circle, or is it a circle within the Book of Enoch? It talks about four corners. It talks about.
Like on my wall there, look there.
Where is it?
My wall.
Right. Yeah. Because it talks about east, west, north, and south, and it's not. I don't think I don't think these points like north, south, east. I don't think they work like we in the model. I think it's more like there's one corner that's south, there's another one that's north.
There are two each half. An NFA. One above CC, minus, plus minus, four different ways of putting two polarities in four. And each pillar had in the flower pattern also four faces. I would suspect something like 4 inch faces being the four pillars.
I mean, the ice walls, I think that's the limit, that there's more land, not infinite, because the Book of Enoch says there's limits. Actually, God took Enoch to the earth. There wasn't any land anymore. It literally says that with the firmament ended, the skies ended, and so there is. But it also talks about mountains. The Book of Enoch talks about mountains with precious gold.
Is that the 7 mountains?
I don't know if it's 7, but there's definitely some. There's mountains very far. He talks mountains far east, far away.
I was watching a video and it was talking about 7 mountains. So I'm not sure where that comes from. It sounded quite interesting from what that guy was saying.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And I don't know how that fits with what we thought was Antarctica in the AE map. It's kind of I don't know about the ice wall actually. I mean,
I go with the copper washi. I do. I think that's quite accurate. I just like to think that it's real. I dug into it.
It probably is real, but I think there's more land, more land, because it talks about these mountains and look quite revealing.
Oh, it is. I listen to it. Flatwater's one of my favourite all-time flat.
I love him. He's great.
He's my night. I'll always put a Flatwater on to relax. For him, top guy, and he kept it up. There on my wall there, the Book of Isaiah, version of Earth. But that's one of the oldest maps. I went to view it last year. It was made in 1290. Earth map. It shows the Hyperborean. It doesn't show the new one. It shows the Hyperborean of the north and on the edge, or a nice wall and so. But they got people fictitious men with half bodies of beasts and stuff, like medieval keep out signs. They put that in a box and they took it on every era apparently. Hamlet, sorry, cities didn't exist. The earth, and this is all that's there. So it's no different now. They're showing us tapes. This is the world we presented to you. That's all that's there. Then they were telling them that was all that was there. Everyone was, there's no argument about being all, but about the new North America, South. So they were lying. So they presented the world map saying, "Let's to explore." Nothing being done, I'm afraid. In Arctic space, and we're the only ones that can go anyway. Playing. It's so small. It's definitely this is what this is about. Give you the hyperdimension. Maybe if that's the case, never going to answer because it would be beyond time as a material body. Maybe we'd be it when we transcend this. But
yeah, that's what I think that there's definitely what you call shell under Earth. Mm-hmm. And I think there's definitely a place for the soul up there and down as well. It says in the Book of Enoch that there's little souls, locked down in these places. Oh. Yeah. So I think there's definitely a place that we cannot in our current physical form. It's going to be afterwards when we die and we live in spirit. Mm-hmm. And I think it's definitely true. There's a place there for spirits and down there as well.
I think afterlife is a big part of this, guys, definitely. Existence
as well, like dreams, you go into you're traveling within a, but it's your spirit, not you as a body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's who you are. You're the driver of this machine. You're just purging. I find that disgusting. But you're not Craig. You're not your body. You're your spirit having a human experience. Right. You're not a human having a spiritual experience. That's never true. You are a spirit, human experience.
That's when you have as a spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's definite. I think that's part of this as well. Of this awakening. The fact that there is an afterlife and there is more. And it's not what the consider this. So it's right. And we've been to the all about. They literally got 6 foot under within a week. And there's the thing about the age, brainwashing people with the age. They care you should act middle-aged. And they've said people are working the fields at 100 years of age. They don't even know how old the age bullshit.
Well, you got to get doing weightlifting and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
What have you? But yeah, the way they lie to who we truly are, and I think all of this is part of the awakening, the tapping in and pretend how we've unlocked from the beast world, all these bullshit things anymore, like nuclear war or anything that they come out with. Time to think about what we are. I don't believe anything they told us about what we are. The effect, the placebo. That's
Martin, you've been doing a bit of more history, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, tonight even. I tend to value.
Yeah, what about conscious placebo?
Yeah,
the actual healer. Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing. I tap body frequency. I have. If I don't get up, I run to my body frequency like anyway, and my body will tell me in minerals or in foods. I work my body. They do the same thing. I know that, but he can also tap into his mind. If a man can disperse his own tumour because the doctor have told him this tablet's it, and they can watch it through a microscope, the doctor's only giving him a water tablet. It's there all the time, and we've got to tap that ability.
That's where we actually are triggered the religion of the professional, the teacher, ruler, the whatever is, because then you responsibility for itself, and that's the whole issue here. Everything's actually turning around our and nothing about out there in that sense. everything in life is kind of a sort of challenge to be triggered into actually this response of taking responsibility for yourself.
Well, I'm gonna go now because I'm gonna finish the video that I was editing. Just came in to say hi and all that, actually.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Thank you,
It was
Oliver.
great. Okay, thank you all. See you soon.
Take care, Oliver. Bye.
Bye, Oliver.
Bye.
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 Wow, he's super cool.
He is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, it takes a lot. We need somebody like that. He could. I looked at him, and the instant when I see 2000, I knew that he could be in his part of the IB. Not saying the same narratives.
I wanted him as a speaker.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
he was talking to Oliver, and then he must have said, listen, Oliver's come. So he'd be so great, because in the end, it was a sorry series, but a lot of us are each other, whatever,
Oh,
at that conference.
Oh, probably, yeah.
you go into the Leamington Spa, Karen.
Here in a year, much can happen.
I'm a bit like, I would like to. I think
With research.
I got
Yeah,
that,
I'm going.
I ain't got that
Loads
much
going,
money,
Frankie.
Martin. The bit of money I've got, I want to put on a ticket to go and series. I'm going to go and meet series.
All right, fair enough. I'd be me like on, going on.
Yes, I'm going up, Martin.
Yeah, oh, excellent, Frankie. There's loads going, look. I got about, maybe 20 people like left. John, Robert.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm never, I can't. Not this. I don't know. Anyway, see what's happening. See what's happening with the gang. See what Patricia's up to. I'm not thinking like that, Frankie. I'm in for hanging around. We're going to be hanging out, aren't we? We're going to be all hanging out.
But
It's gonna be
listen,
awesome.
Martin, everybody, listen to it. A year ago, we wouldn't have been saying all things, would we? Good hangouts with each other. I've met Martin. We've met each other up to something. We've got the conference our hangouts are picking more people in our it's just this was a year ago. We've probably moved on rather a lot. Just want it to carry it's
Where
The
did you
most
see the
important thing, Karen, the most important thing is that it's his work.
yeah.
After this time and all the work that you did, you're not talking about it.
Martin and then Oliver came in. We've got video club we're doing on Sunday about series as well. I understand it, but we in series just talked that he didn't have to necessarily talk it all the time now. Like right now, series take over then.
Yeah, it's based. Yeah, the video book club is also mentioned that you have watched the video, and if you have questions, and you can ask them in the hangout. The hangout is about answering the
Yeah.
focus on what the answer will be for because it's so big wide and so. That's also the question how far I get it.
Can I very quickly? It's not this, it would be because on a hangout you can only have 10 people. You can't have any more than that. Really, go the hangout with that topic of the week. We did the first one, the Morgile bombshell, and join the group. Now we have hangouts with just the networking. It's good. Anyway, the next time, because it's important, is series, and we.
I want my tea. I haven't had my tea yet. It's about 10 o'clock. I've got to eat something. I got back at 6:30. I contacted 2 people, and that was it. It's straight on you. That's what
That was a long day.
Mate, my day started yesterday morning. I've been asleep. I don't feel tired. I feel sketchy as hell.
Oh, does that mean you're leaving the hangout then, Martin?
What's that, bitch?
Does that mean you're leaving the hangout, or you're just going to get something to eat?
I got a rich club. Honest to God, I got back. I just had an hour and anything. I haven't even looked. I'll be up on comments. I got 10,000 bin full of mail, and I got as soon as I've had something to eat.
Well, it's really nice, and I'm sure you'll come back again. I don't know what happened to Dell, but never mind. I'm sure you're doing this.
Yeah, you don't do much at night. You don't late at night. When you because you got the baby. So
He's just forgotten at the last moment that he was coming on. That's all.
You should have said the word maybe.
And I'm just coming back to say goodbye.
He was on all day yesterday.
Uh,
On all day the day before. It knackers you out. Yesterday, wasn't he? Yeah, it was yesterday.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's
he's got-
tiring all the time, sort of being on
Depends where
things.
you out. I can do 3 hangouts, 4 in a day. 5's my record. 5 different. But I was always 24-hour piece. I know. I got 3 lined up. You know, Pete's, Jeff Stewart. I can't go over there. Oh God, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do any of it anyway. No time.
Anything you want to say then? If Martin's going to go in a minute.
Great to see you, my friend.
Sorry.
Great.
Hello.
You just the family, all right?
Yeah, not too bad. How's your mum? She all right?
Yeah, she's sound as a pound actually. She don't stop eating. She's putting on a bit of weight. You know, it's an improving story. So, from last year.
Yeah. Tell her I said hello anyway.
I will do. She knows you, Craig. She knows everyone.
Mine.
She talks to them all. She talks to all the Flat Earthers. They don't know her.
Yeah.
You know, a version of the Flat Earth as well, believe it or not.
Okay.
Which is her own sort of
Is
idea.
your mum a
She's
flat
not-
earther then, Martin?
She's a proper Flat Earther. She's a full Flat Earther.
Yay!
Wasn't at first, but because she's years of 2 years solid information, now she knows it can't be doubted. She cannot doubt it. It was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago when she went, oh, it's definitely flat. That was good. The rest of the family is still fighting me. My son had an argument yesterday over stupid rubbish, but global orientation. He knows that it's flat, I think, underneath. I think he secretly watches my videos, not to be my son and not have a look at what I'm up to. I can't see that.
Mine don't. Martin, mine don't look at my videos. One of them does, the other 2 don't.
Well, plain yeah, or plain Ranger.
Well, I hope your son does watch yours anyway. He should be proud of you. He should be proud of you, Martin. Your son.
Me?
Your son should be proud of you.
I should be proud of me. I know. I'm all right. I'm just doing my thing, Karen. Try my best. I'm up against it. I don't, you know, I don't really grow for the amount of time I've been banging away at this. And I hit my 402nd video today. Including my second channel. That's over 500 videos in a 3 year space. I think I'm a prolific video maker. Beating them all. Really am. But I just don't seem to do anything. Don't seem to grow. But boys, obviously, I just don't seem to go anywhere. You noticed? Stuck.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Stuck. Entrenched. They get entrenched. They're entrenched not to come over.
Who's that?
Right, out there, the living dead.
Oh God, don't talk to me about them. I have them all the day. I go in my garden, they all walk past and hassle me every day. So I got to keep, you know, coming in here, which is real shit because I haven't got another place to go. Terrible around here. You seem to think that they can just come over and talk rubbish to you about problems and superficial garbage. And like, I'm on a live adventure. There's people actually looking at me here. I'm talking. Yeah, they're just that rude. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but when you understand about the lies, different things become more important. That's the bit I was saying, that maybe no one's really got any worse. It's just that because we've woken up a bit or understand more, they look worse. Because I'm struggling with people myself.
Maybe.
I'm struggling with them. I don't even... like Frankie, I can't.
Like the ocean got really big from Italy, now they're really small.
Mm. I'm struggling. I'm quite a social person myself. I've had my own social club. You know, going out is not a problem, but this last sort of few years, I feel like I want to be in my own home and being or talking to people who know that I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's dangerous here. If I can go elsewhere, if I can go any other British city or anywhere else, it's absolutely fine. Or if I go to town. But this area is not safe to walk around, to take your life in your hands. It's a turkey shoot to go to the chip shop. Whether or not you're going to get jumped by a gang Honestly, it's not funny. They constantly kill people on a regular basis, the gangs around, yeah. So, you know.
What, you mean they're bullying you, really?
It's a reality.
They're bullying you,
Oh,
really?
I got crazy.
Sorry, they're bullying you, really? Is that what you're saying, really?
No, it's just mob rule. They've arrived recently. They're migrants, out the city types. Never seen them before. I wouldn't even like to say what country they hail from. I haven't got a clue. But they're just terrorising the streets at the moment, and they run sex trafficking, hard drugs. They brought heroin and crack to a profusion into my area, which has completely destroyed the remnants of any family unit that was left. It's had a knock-on effect that it's just massive cancer in the area. Everything is deprived because of it. And this has been going on for the last 5 years, but the last year it's off the radar. People are dying now regularly. Gang-related drug offence, you know, people getting killed for owing drug money and gang drug wars. Basically, it's gone to that, and that was never a freaking city back in the 80s, and now it's like it's terrible, yeah, really bad. Can't go out. I lock everything up. I don't have tools around me constantly. I can't take no chances. It's so bad. Hates it. It's bad for your nerves. You know, you're worried in case something's going to happen, like every time you go out, which could happen, and it does. Because of
the one thing the people seem to forget is it's not actually the government that makes the community; it's the people.
Yeah, I know. It's the social conditioning. I don't blame them one bit. I don't blame any of them one bit. You know, we were global believers ourselves, but it's more when we were global believers, we were still people. These people seem to be going darker and more towards the globe, and the good people are getting better. So what I believe is happening is the good people are getting better, and the bad people are getting what going on here. And it's the fascists at the other ends of the spectrum for some reason. And
that's what the Bible says as well, you know.
You know, yeah, that's it. Wickeder get wickeder. That's it, Craig. Yeah. Well put. That's it. So I believe that's what it feels like from my perspective. The good people are really good, you know, but the bad people are really bad. Yeah. And don't go from the flat earth either. You think I can't just presume, Karen, everyone's just going to be a good person and be like a good flat earther, because that doesn't seem to be able to be happening. But
you'd like to think that you were a better person than you were before, but you know, you're hoping for, isn't it? We're all hopefully better people because of this. We all like, say for instance, our part, like Frankie, is to be part of a community. As if that's the least you do, because you've changed things. Us talking, the conference,
battling,
Leamington Spa, these are all things
over jealousy and greed, over, you know, I blame YouTube introducing money into the game, because as soon as they put this super chat and all the rest of it, they knew what they were doing. They knew they were going to put the money into it and the greed aspect into it, and they knew that would bring sort of criminal mentality into it. They knew that when they played that card. So it's all by design, you see. Properly.
Always free, Martin.
I know. It's fucking rude what they do, the way they play us, these people. But we're using the beast's machine to do our freedom.
Well,
really strange things, you know. The revolution is not televised, but it's it's on year, yet, and the awakening, the spiritual awakening, it's not televised, it's on year. Machine to do it.
Have you heard of something called subversion? So in the 60s, they took one of these Russian guys who'd done communism and how his whole program worked, and in Russia they took everything away. But over here, what they've done is they've adopted a lot of the things, like it's breaking the family down, making people obese. Then they're not happy with themselves. Break the family up. There's a whole list of things that's a strategy. Give them false gods like footballers, all that kind of stuff. And what they've really done is, the subversion is modern communism. Everything is programmed, everything is organised, everything is staged, most things are fake. So people don't realise it. We're in some kind of communism. Because they've channeled us now, we're slaves to debt. They've done it that way with us, slaves to debt, but they've channeled us. It's some kind of subversion. It's some kind of communism they've done, because you don't even realise when they're taking your rights away.
It is a tough communist. It's totalitarian for sure, but it's a new type. It's a futuristic type of totalitarianism. It's scary new version.
Sorry,
Like a horror film
sorry, Frankie.
where they got.
So he sounds like David Icke now. What was it you said?
About totalitarian TikTok, but that's just another word for the Hegelian dialectic. You know, action, reaction, solution. It's just explaining the dialectic using layman's terms. It's all you've ever done. But it's the information everybody, well, most people knew anyway. Irritates as David Icke, but he's good at it. He really is. Oh shit! I gotta eat. I haven't had a chance yet.
Yes, we've kept you long enough. We've kept.
Whatever you do, be good.
Thank you, Martin. Mwah.
See you later. You know where I am. Shall mate?
Bye.
Great. See you later, brother.
See you later, mate.
Thank you, Martin.
All right, try. Bye, bitch. Yeah, let's check out.
Bye. Everybody else there okay?
Yep, good.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that was cool. That was a cool hangout.
Yeah.
A lot discussed as usual. Hey, you're a newbie really, aren't you, Craig? A newbie.
Newbie, yeah.
But Craig makes quite a lot of his own videos, don't you?
Yeah. I try to anyway.
You live in Kent, don't you?
Yeah, I'm in Kent, Sittingbourne.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I've said to like on some of my videos, if there's anyone in Sittingbourne that's into the flat Earth, you know, hit me up. No one has, so.
Yeah, they're scared. I got crazy.
I know, I'm quite lucky, right? Because I am lucky because Dee does live in Devon. I've met Dee, I've met Alan, and I've met Martin, I've met Nathan Oakley, I've met Gary, who's organising the conference, and I've met David James, and I've met Tom the reporter. So I have actually met
quite a few people.
Yeah, I've actually met some real flat earthers. I mean is they're real people. They are real.
Yeah.
I mean, Martin always makes you feel like you've known him forever. I mean, when we were at the Space Centre, I remember thinking, I'm going to go and speak to him. Because he was, you know, someone like I just watched, you know, there he is. And I said something like, oh, you having problems with your laptop? And he went, yeah, Kat. Yeah, Kat, I'm having problems. And he talked to me as if he'd known me forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how it was for me. Like, spoke to him on the phone years and years ago.
Mm. And I mean, as well, Craig, most people don't realise, I'd said to him before, I think there's two sides of Martin. There's Martin that will sit there babbling about whatever you want him to and whatever he's in, you know, he'll get, you know, whatever's going. But there's a much deeper part where he's actually done a lot of research about history, about things.
Yeah, Martin knows a lot. He knows a lot.
Yeah, so maybe some people see him as this bubbly whatever person, but he's actually got a lot of information in there when he gets going.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I say, sometimes Mike can talk though.
Yeah, he can. He holds the hangout, he does. But we know that, and he's lovely. I really like Martin.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, even though he's talking, I'm listening, and I'm learning something new anyway, so it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It is though, but occasionally, you know, like, you know, we had Gerard on the other day and he said he doesn't really talk to us. Goes out sometimes with his phone and says, do you know there's the thing called flat earth and stuff like that. But, you know, he said, I need to talk to people who I actually need to talk to someone who's a flat earther. I need to speak to those people. Because it does sort of make you a little bit, I think even him, he's a young guy, he's in his early 30s. He says a couple of people know about it where he is, but he doesn't really talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Not where he lives.
It's quite sad though, isn't it? Because there should be more, and there should be more around those people's areas that would want to meet another flat earther
Do
or
you?
truther,
You just
you
said
know.
that you don't meet up. Alan, do you meet up with flat earthers around you?
No, I don't know. No. That I know of, yeah.
In Ceres' house, they have to lump it, don't they, Ceres? They might not be flat earthers, but they know what he's doing and they still come round.
Yeah.
What about you, Frankie?
Yeah, don't take it easy. Don't be any easy. I mean, be sure for yourself. That's all. It's all about actually researching your things, empirical thinking part. In why I also wrote, in a sense, the glass is always half full because there's so much to put in there, and only those who actually put something in there will discover the glass is actually limitless.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal people just never learn to actually put anything in it.
Ceres, I'm not sure whether Craig has followed too much of your research, but just explain a little bit to him, because we decided, Craig, we want our group to stay where it is in Facebook so that we feel we're protected and trolls won't come in. But we decided that most Hangout series is talking a bit about, we didn't today very much, but he ends up talking about his work. Well, we weren't supposed to be going out with it yet, but we've decided that we have today. We've released his work, really,
Okay.
through a Jeren Hangout we had.
Right.
Do you want to explain a little bit to Craig? You can't do the whole hour and 25 minute series.
I don't know. We haven't seen so far. I've been sharing since February already. March was it? Since March, the presentation video we made for Santos Bonacci, and I don't know. Have you seen it? It's linked in the pinned post.
I haven't really looked at it.
No.
It is different to everyone else's, though, Craig.
And you know what? Actually, best is to actually watch that particular video.
Okay.
And Sunday, the book club.
I tell you one thing you can explain to him, Ceres. Explain to him about the pictures. What it is Ceres has been downloading Google Earth. And he also found an elevation side. But whenever they wanted to make a ball, all the pictures get scrunched, but not the original data. The original data, none of them are scrunched. So just explain that a little bit, like the 90 degrees. And so that's in this video.
Yeah.
But just tell him a little bit about that,
You
Ceres.
can, with the whole in Google Maps, in that there are particular ways to the GPS coordinates into the XY coordinates, in how the images are actually stored in their data servers.
Okay.
XY coordinates are particularly the photographic coordinates.
Right.
And there's a particular translation function to actually translate that into GPS. But to make a complete ball projection complete, you need at least 3 squares to complete in the photographic dimension the complete 90 degrees of the GPS coordinates.
Yeah.
But Google Maps doesn't give anything photographic beyond the 85 latitude, because there ends the first square.
Right.
The last 5 latitudes between 85 and 90 is actually a complete square through this particular formula they have.
Wow.
When you actually have this data in the triple square I have in the elevation data, and you actually make that particular map of the latitude longitude 101, 180 by 360 degrees, then you actually push at least 2/3 of the top and the bottom square into already a single pixel.
Right.
And it ends up in kind of a few pixels beyond there, and then the rest of the middle square is a little bit stretched in the middle, and then it's kind of wave from one side to the other side, and it's a little bit more turned in the middle, and then goes straight again. In that you get the whole push in of that, you end up with two squares.
Right.
By 360. And from that, you actually create the circle map by keeping the equator the exact distance and make the top line into the northern pole and then the south to fold it around the pole. And you end up with a map in data form in where actually only one distance is correct, and that's the equator itself.
Okay.
The ball doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The first step in that translating between the XY coordinates and GPS pushes the data so far away that when you translate that back into the three squares again, you actually completely lost all the data on top and on the bottom, what I actually have through the elevation.
Okay. Blimey.
Google Maps application. They give it through latitude, longitude coordinates, and that's the only way you can get it. But the funny thing is, the photographic dimensions are all in XY coordinates, and that's where all the colors of the photos are. And what I figured is, I just get the XY coordinates, translate that in latitude, longitude, up till the 89.9999 degrees, because 90 degrees itself is this particular Tanger's infinity problem what you walk against. Kind of an excuse for them to say that things are not really okay there. But when you actually see the data in its raw form and how you actually project it, it's on the photographic format.
Yeah.
Then you see that there is data where what shouldn't be there on the ball or the shirt.
Okay.
That's the whole point. The edges of the data are not the same height, for example. That of the whole wide. It's just completely going up and down there. Well, you wouldn't suspect that if that was the single point in the middle, in a sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Then I actually made a tool to translate the Google Maps images, the square you have, as close as possible, into the detailed form of what you would see on the ball or on that square. That pushed first latitude translation and then the longitude translation. And in only the first version directly from Google Maps, the direct photo, it's just right, but the others are just so twisted that you can see that nothing is related to reality itself. You can't
crazy.
As your empirical proof of that is the ball, because that's the ball projection. It doesn't work. And same goes for the circle. The more you deviate from the equator, the more the images get twisted. And then that whole square on top and on the bottom you'll have actually completely disappeared into nothing, and then
basically, Craig, they've kind of always been showing us the truth about the land, but they are omitting a lot of it, like at the top and the bottom. And so to make the ball, they squish everything into this very small bit at the top and the bottom. But in reality, when you open it up, there's another square on top and another square on the bottom.
Okay.
In how you translate the full 90 degrees of the ball.
Yeah.
So far, I find only an edge in the data itself. In northern and southern direction, in east-west, it's actually finite. In the sense that it is a space side cycling space loop. That when in the middle you will always have the furthest edges of the square as the same position on the other side of the circle, and you can walk around the whole circle, but in a sense, you will always take the square with you.
Yeah.
Because that is your world, your realm, your perception. And in that square, you will have your personal perspective bubble, because you can't oversee the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I figured even to see half of it, you need to be as high as the sun is, and then to oversee the whole, you would be needing to be twice as high, if not higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so far within the dimensions, I see that there is this 24,900 of the equator, what is actually going from north to south as just a bigger circle. The fifth dimensional looping is, I figured, through the flower of life, because I started with the triple square. I began to draw the flower of life pattern on it, and I figured there was repeating in east-west in just a single square, in where the flower of life circle just needs one square step in the middle of the square. But the other direction in the other axis needs 13 squares to end up 15 steps later into the 13 square right in the middle. And so far, I figured there is even an alphabet in that you have the heavenly part and the earthly part, what are working together as the sky above. And there's even, when you turn the flower of life quarter as a grid, then you have this east-west direction, what should be bigger, and then the north-south is just one square. That is the spiritual wheel, actually. And so far, I figure how the astrological effects are on how life is actually orchestrated through this energy, emotionally, you know, the moment we are born, etc. So it ties a bit in there. In that
Frankie
sense.
just wants to say goodnight, series. Hold on a second.
Okay,
No,
good night.
everybody, I've got to go now. Sorry to interrupt.
Group hug
That's
for
all right.
Frankie.
Nice to meet you.
Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Frankie.
Bye.
Bye, Alan.
Bye.
And then there was 4, 5.
Yeah, I might get off as well. That's all right. I've got takeaway coming.
All right.
Okay, Patricia, hugs for you.
Hugs to everyone. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, Craig, it's just that what series he's done is quite detailed. It wasn't something that he whipped up in 5 minutes, and maybe he didn't even know it was going to do this or look like this when he started, but he's had his computer going since about October downloading this stuff.
Bloody yeah.
So elevation data.
Nearly 24 hours a day.
That's a lot.
So basically,
But I suppose.
can I just say something? Listen, before you say any more, just to explain this to you, right? When I went to the Space Centre, I nearly didn't go because I didn't have any money, and Dee was really nice, and he took me and he paid for me, and he was wonderful. He was really nice. But the day before I got there, Ceres had been doing a lot more of, you know, these, like, you must have seen something about the fact that Ceres might mention dimensions. They may be more spiritual dimensions, but he's drawn the flower of life and the tree of life, and, you know, all fits. And what it was is he put the tree of life on top, and then he said to me, we live in the heart garden of the tree of life. And the very next day I met Alan, and Alan was the person who'd heard the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Alan, just explain a little bit. And then, if you understand, we're living in God. He is here. He's a frequency.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that when we was talking that day.
Yeah, Alan, explain a little bit. I've heard it.
Okay, that's the word as a frequency. I also connect this through the Mandelbrot fractal. I don't know if you know that particular realm.
No, I can't say I do.
Mandelbrot's end up being like where all the frequencies are. They repeat themselves and repeat themselves and repeat themselves and repeat. You know, a bit like a psychedelic going through a, you know, when those psychedelic things come up and all the colours change and everything keeps going like through a tunnel. This is what they do.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Alan, like I didn't know Dee and Martin and Nathan went to play. They ran around with their computers. And they went off to play in the PlayStation, the Space Centre, and yeah, and then I started talking to Alan, and I don't know, they ran off, didn't they, Alan? I ended up talking to you for 2 or 3 hours. Anyway, just explain a little bit to Craig about your work and what you found, like the firmament,
Right.
the car radio, just a little bit.
Basically, what we do is we'll get a crystal to emit scalar frequencies. Now, scalar frequencies emitted from the crystal start off in small rings, and they expand and expand as they rise up.
Like a ripple.
Yeah.
Like a ripple, yes.
Okay.
So the rings get bigger and bigger as they basically go higher. So when they reach the firmament, which we proved does exist, these scalar waves reflect back down in a cone shape, in a focal cone, where we could pick the frequencies up, pick the signal up. There was no time loss either. It was instantaneous.
Wow.
And
So
he's done it for the firmament, and he feels there's a barrier north, south, east, west, because his machinery is picked up. So he's picked up
Yep.
all of it. It could be something extra, but it's definitely a frequency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of
One of the solid.
out of life bubbles with the square in the middle. And then
I don't know what it is.
north and south, 2 other bubbles working together.
Yep.
And then this spiritual bubble also working together.
Mhm.
It's getting a bit complex here to actually see it all together. But they're kind of separated levels, the heaven and earth levels in that sense. We are actually kind of the plane in the middle in where everything comes together. Where the focal point of what creation is about, because we are the witness here below.
Well, that's what the Bible talks about as well, us being like that.
Sorry, it was.
That's okay, series, because this flat earth thing is a spiritual thing. So it's not just about a piece of land. It's not just about what shape we are.
No.
But then also,
It's particularly about this where in the middle where we are. It's not about us going anywhere else or something.
Yeah.
but I want to say something else in a minute, because Siri said a word and it's really crazy after everything. But Alan's got a radio. It's probably, well, there's probably not many of what he's got. And explain your radio, Alan.
Well, basically, when we were doing the programming of the crystals with the computer, transferred the actual sound onto a radio in my car. I can pick that up anywhere in the world on that car. I can hear the heartbeat. Like if you were to go at the same frequency on the FM band on another car, you wouldn't hear it. You hear it on mine.
And do you know what it sounds like, Craig? What it sounds like is, you know when you're in the hospital and someone's lying there, and the heartbeat goes da-dun, da-dun, da-dun,
Oh, yeah.
da-dun. It doesn't
Can I
do
just
that.
say quickly?
It doesn't do that. Oh, very quick. I'll finish this and then you say what you've got to say. It doesn't do that. You know when you actually start walking around and anybody's monitored, their heartbeat goes da-donk, 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 da-donk. It moves because you're moving. That's what the heartbeat sounds like it's moving.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that in my mind and within my hearing. So I get what you're saying.
You can hear
But I
it.
also get sometimes I get like a high pitched screaming sound. So I think that's a part of it as well. If that makes sense.
Right. But then again, it does seem that a lot of the flat earthers who are really serious about this are very sensitive people.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I think.
Definitely.
Do you know what I think we are? I think we're the antennas. I think that it's on one of my videos. It's this lady who's a medium. She regresses people, and she obviously got her questions to ask, and they always tell her. They tell her that they have chosen to come here, and that she knows which. If the first wave are older than me, they're probably 10, 15 years older than me. They were just sent here, so it's probably hell for them. The second wavers are the antennas, and the third wave are children who are probably teenagers now, and they're the ones she reckoned were going to change the world. But even if you just took a part of it, it just seems that Ceres is an antenna, Alan's an antenna, you're sensitive, you're an antenna, Wilson's an antenna, Santos is an antenna, Matt, Jerome's an antenna, you know, because there's so much information coming in. All of you have got this information coming in.
Can I tell you something? Going back before I came to the flat plane, I remember having a conversation with God, and I've never shared this with anyone. And I remember, you know, going into the womb and all that, you know, being the first sperm to get there, and you know, and then I remember being in the body, and I remember looking at my hands growing and all that, and I was really smart, and I was almost like godlike smart. And then obviously when I came out into the world, I was just a baby. I didn't know nothing. But I remember coming out and everything.
What, the moment you're born, you forget everything?
Yeah, because you're learning. You have to learn from the earth part of it. Do you know what I mean? Because now you're in the body now, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Are you not in the body in the womb then? When does the soul? When do you reckon the soul comes? It must be at conception, surely.
No, let me tell you something else as well. Like when the sperm was going into my mum, yeah, I was a spirit watching that sperm, and I was willing that sperm to go on.
Oh yeah, listen, Craig, you're like this. Listen, you are the end result of those people's union. Everything they felt, everything they were like, made you. Because you know, like, whatever they were doing, so if they didn't like each other, if they were in love with each other, you are the end result of whatever that they were feeling, thinking, doing, everything. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But you know what? And anyway, you're always a winner, because basically you're the sperm that won. There's millions of them, isn't there? There's millions of sperm.
I'm a champion.
Yeah! We're already millionaires, because it was a 1 in a million chance it would be us.
Yeah, and the funny thing is as well, I remember being that sperm, yeah, and, you know, pushing myself to get there.
It's my turn. It's my turn.
Yeah, I'm getting there, mate. You ain't getting there. Move aside.
It just seems, though, a lot of these people who are really into it are really sensitive people. I'm just wondering whether we're just all the antennas. We were made like this because we had to get the information. You know, we've obviously got a link to source somehow that they don't have. It probably is from us, and it never left us from our childhood.
Yeah, and I think also, once we've got the information and we become spirits, obviously we've got to pass it on, the energy, to the other people. If that makes sense.
Yes, I do. There's a film out. It was Gary Oldman and Demi Moore, and it was oh my god, what's the film called? Anyway, Scarlet Letter. But what it was is, at the end, what it was is, because there sort of had been adultery, and this is when they'd taken religion over to the Americas, well, supposedly in the 1700s. Anyway, but basically, the girl said the daughter was reading the story over the top. She said, some say this happened and that, but guess what? That love is in them, it's in my children, and it's in my children's children. And then her last words were, who says what God has planned for you?
Exactly. It's very true indeed.
I think that even though that was a film, and it was a flop, because they spent millions on it.
On truth, isn't it?
They spent millions on this film, but in it, there's information.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Well, there's truth in movies, isn't there?
I've never forgotten those words. You know, when people say things, I've always remembered, who says what God has planned for you? The churches don't.
Yeah. But that's true.
I just think that
It's a crazy world, man.
you know, when you know, like some people, like Matt, he sees these things. You feel these things. You hear
Yeah.
these things. You've got to be some kind of antenna. We're the second wavers then. And we, you know, the people that are joining my hangouts, all people really are really nice people, aren't they, Series? You know, and this is a way to get to know each other. And this was Series' idea. When it started, I was doing Sun and Moon, and I thought, something else to do. Oh my goodness. But from that moment has come all these, and it works because now you've spoken to Series and Alan and it's just great community, great networking, it's great everything. But I just think everyone that comes on is mega sensitive. They are, aren't they, Series?
Yeah, it's just being yourself. It's like my house rule. Be yourself. If you're not yourself, come to yourself.
Yeah.
Series' big thing is the whole reason they did this was to hide who you were.
Yeah. They say it's to hide God, but I don't know. God is everywhere in many forms, in plural. Eventually, the only thing they actually hide is you.
Well, yeah. I believe that's very true, indeed. And they make you second guess yourself and everything. Am I this? Am I that? Who am I? You know, that kind of stuff.
So, being these antennas, it means that we did come here to help change the world.
Yeah, well, we're definitely here for that because we're here doing this and we're doing videos and we're talking to people, you know, even like strangers outside. Oh, do you know this? Oh, do you know that? So, yeah, definitely.
Each one of us is this piece of jigsaw puzzle, you know? Alan's a piece of the puzzle. Series is a piece of the puzzle. You've got to be a piece of the puzzle because you're here. You know, and the people that we're meeting along the way, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The really good thing is you've got like Series doing his research, Alan's doing crystals and free energy work. We've got Dave Marsh who's doing filming and, you know, like experiments with the moon, you know, in camera, filming it and stuff like that. And it's just great. You've got people who taking compass readings. It's great. We've got a myriad of people doing things. And even coming on the Hangouts is your part in it. Because a lot of people are too shy to come on the Hangouts. But they listen. They listen to you. So I don't mean that horribly to anybody. I just mean even coming on a Hangout really is a good thing. It's we don't eat you. You're still alive at the end, and it's, you know, it's talking to people and networking. Sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a part of, like, you know, interacting with people, getting their aspects of it, and they're getting yours, and, you know, you're getting an understanding, so you could build your bigger picture.
The more of us talk, the more real it is.
Yeah, even though we know it is real, but it makes it even more real because everyone gets to see it and hear it then.
Yeah. I do think, though, I have said this, I don't know if I've said this the correct way, but it's the only way I can kind of explain it. Like, you know, if we turn around and look at our history, oh, well, that's horrible. There was wars, the Second World War, there's poverty, hunger, depression, oh, and all the history about dying and all that. Oh, great. Well, you can't really go back there. And then the future's all about terrorism, harp, CERN.
Need control.
And then you've got them breaking down the family and all that subversion and communism going on beneath as you're moving through all this. But really, the thing about Flat Earth means it's here and now, which is what we're supposed to be, because that's what we were made. You know, it's not like you can rewind me 5 minutes, isn't it, and play it again. We're here and now beings. And the whole point of this is covering up that we're here and now. It's always wanted to keep you fearful of the future, fearful of the past. Oh, and most of us have, you know, my family's been a bit weird to me over flat Earth, you know. So you've got all that struggle and oppression going on but it's about being here and now, which is where we should be.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Sorry, I got in a bit of a soapbox then, but it's just, you know, and also the other thing that really gets me as well is that when you believe in space and you believe in NASA and everything and it's fake, then all you're believing in is a fake reality. And when they do that, they've taken your freedom away because you believe they've been to the moon. You believe there's space rockets and ISS. You believe all that, so it's making a fake reality. A matrix.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, you know, when you're a kid and someone goes to you, what shape's the Earth? A lot of the kids will go, it's flat, instinctively. And then someone go, no, actually, it's a globe. Do you know what I mean? And then you go, oh, all right then. Because you don't know any better because you're a kid.
Yeah, indoctrinated, unfortunately, from very young. And you know the other thing I just wanted to bring up? Sirius was just explaining in his information just a minute ago that we live in a space loop. They've got us up there. We're in the space. It's here. It's not up there. It's here.
Why we exist here. That's why there is space here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's bigger and different and stranger than all the fiction combined.
Yeah.
And way beyond.
Yeah, we're living in the most futuristic thing that could ever happen.
So far I figured out the 7 chakras, but as the 7th is actually middle of 13, you have the 6 below and then also the 6 above. And it's then the middle of the earth half and then the middle of the heaven half, in where the 26 is the complete circle. And that's just only the heaven and earth part. And if you ask me, there is even a hell beyond that.
Yeah, I agree.
Of that, and then you have between that, above that an earth, and below that an earth, and then the top chakra as a heaven, and the bottom chakra as hell, and so halfway we are exactly in the middle plane of that whole chakra of 7, in where we are the 4th level of the chakra, in the heart of the how the tree is built, and the tree of life in there. That we are the middle garden of the bigger body, and then in the 3 triangles, 3 middle square, what is actually the heart of the tree.
Yeah.
And that was I was telling Karen, and the next day she met Ellen and said.
Yeah.
He heard the whole.
Wow.
Plus,
yeah,
not just that. Like,
if I have all the sea in there, you actually see that the southern half of the site is actually kind of the Antarctica begins at the bottom, is kind of an earth layer, and then you have the world, what is kind of a tree in there, and then a kind of undersea finishing part in the north, what eventually ends up also as the complete tree of life triple circle you need to actually draw the tree of life within the triple square. Even lining up with a kind of elevation data where you see a particular wave in one wide, and particularly how it's spread as a single circle, and then it etches up at a kind of the world then starts, and then lining this particular tree of life flower line up with how the sun on the lima is actually more on the top left of the middle point of the latitude longitude 0.0.
It gets very technical.
As a whole between the tropics, and how the analema, how I have actually drawn the analema top down, in where the crossing of the smaller and the bigger circle lined up with the wave in exactly the golden ratio between the tropic and that actually completely lined it up. The whole tree of life, a flower of life grid elevation data is actually shown up. And
Wow, yeah.
in Antarctica, big mountain and the valley, and then in the north, the deep rim and the mountain rim under the sea.
Right,
And
yeah.
pillars.
Could I just explain something, Ceres? We've just... So Ceres is talking about these flower of life, tree of life, there's the fruit of life, they all go on his map. So I've just said it's spiritual, right? This thing we're in is a spiritual thing. God is a frequency. He's all around us. We live in God anyway, and he's got a heartbeat. But without all that stuff, Ceres is saying,
as well.
The sun and the moon wouldn't be here.
Body in bigger perspective.
Okay.
So, and it starts with our own body.
Yeah.
Where this chakra system is, and how Santos Bonacci actually explains how you activate your own natural DMT trip and rejuvenation process of creating new blood in your body, and actually if not forever, I'm not sure. I mean, 1,000 years would be enough. I mean, to gather all the knowledge in what is here, the experiences where it is all about. I mean, the heavenly treasures in that sense, for knowledge.
Yeah.
Because your brains are kind of the roots into heaven.
Okay.
And we are rooted in heaven and as trees into the world, instead of rooted in the earth and the other way around.
Also, if you didn't have these things, the sun and the moon wouldn't be here. So you need all this flower of life, tree of life, all this, what he's talking about, the analemas, all this only happens because of those things, as well as it being spiritual.
That the analemas are actually lining up with the mental pattern in the smaller scale. I'm not sure what the relation is with the bigger scale, other than that when I actually drew the whole fractal with the zero of the fractal on the sun, because it's the fourth dimensional sense, you get outside of the square because you use a bigger dimension than the one of the square, but what gets out gets the other way in, and the other way in. The resonance through the dimension created actually the sun and the moon analema field of how the bigger and smaller circle were positioned.
Yeah.
So even that particular through the fourth dimension ends up in the analema field as a smaller part of it, and then you can actually draw a smaller fractal of the Mandelbrot on top of the analema itself.
Okay.
And then in both directions of the moon and the sun.
So basically, we're just living in a complete set of frequencies. You hear them.
Yeah, I call the Mandelbrot actually the visual presentation of how the Most High's word kind of can be seen. It's actually beginning with the finite form, but in itself is a complete infinite repeating of itself.
Yeah.
While you go through all the valleys and deeper and deeper into the details, you know, and the wonderful pictures coming out there. But eventually you end up still with the same, you know, and that's the infinity and the repeating part, and actually a finite size. It's all happening between 2 and -2 in that sense.
Okay.
And the other thing we haven't actually said to you, Craig, and it might seem a little bit like whoa again, but most things are looping, and these other dimensions are there even if we can't see them, but they all come together and we see it as 3D, but that doesn't mean they're not there. And I've tried to explain to the group as well, or to people, that our own bodies are multi-dimensional. You know, you can move your toes, you can talk, you can eat, you can move your hand, you can think, you can talk, you can do a myriad of things all at the same time. These are different dimensions working in your body.
This loop is the only thing how you can prove it is by walking the whole line east-west there on what latitude. You will end up at the same place at exactly the same distance. It's all 24,901 miles wide.
Okay.
In circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always in the middle of it. You will always be the center of it. And in fifth dimensional and north-south as well. And that circle is only 26 times bigger.
Okay.
Basically, the fourth dimension means this is how, well, Ceres reckons the sun is in even a higher dimension, but definitely in the fourth dimension, this is how it can come back. Because it's doing a straight line, but in fourth dimension, it's doing...
A game what play with many people online. War game. In that game, you had a kind of map of 800 by 800 blocks, and you could possess one of 10 of those blocks to put your city on. And there are many kinds of blocks, whatever. But the essence of that map was that it didn't matter where you were, in all directions, in exactly 800 by 800. So as soon as you move one to the right, the one to the left appears to the right.
Okay.
And when you go up, the one going away below appears above. And then in that way, plays 800 by 800 in a square around you. And that's exactly actually the same thing working here, as the same principle of the looping space. But the difference is that you have to work with the flower of life to actually connect to the whole beginning of the triple square I begin with.
Yeah.
Because and the flower of life itself actually demands that there must be more, and more than the 3 squares even, and the edges of it actually prove that there is just more. It just doesn't stop. It's just a 90-degree edge of the ball projection.
Okay.
So far it goes in their data. They don't need to show more, but it's enough for me to actually realize there's a way bigger circle there than only this.
Yeah.
Also, Craig, that's Ceres has done 2 types of research. One is pixels and one is elevation. And the reason that he can say what he says is the elevation one is the one that shows you how big Antarctica is and how high it is, and that there's water above Russia, but in that water there are parts of it which are deep, but the water there, the land underneath, is much closer to the surface. So you can see...
It's kind of a pre-flood level. What is it, 100 meters, 1,000 kilometers or something. Below the sea level of now is when you pull the water back, then you see actually that the whole top is actually completely connected.
Okay. Yeah.
And then on the bottom you still have the deeper parts.
It's really deep there. Africa, Australia, that water there below South America is really deep.
Yeah. You begin with kind of, 2,000 to 4,000 meter high ground in the south. Then you dive deep into the ocean bottom around 5 to 7 kilometers. Then the land areas are all coming just above sea, and typically that's all just above sea, and then you have the all deep valleys in the sea. in the south. And then you have in the north mainly that the lands is coming together. And then there's still the sea reaches up to beyond the north. And then you have between Russia and America, or actually Canada, no, Greenland there somewhere already. Between Greenland and Russia, you have in the sea a very large circle mountain ring. Right to there, you have a very deep groove through the sea.
Okay.
A little bit lower, a little bit smaller, etc. It's the other way around there.
Yeah.
And then you'll have kind of that the sea comes together as a particular 2,000 meter deep under the sea. And then it's kind of an edge as in the south, but not as sharp as there is a wave and then a sharp edge into how the south begins. But it goes over to kind of rippling through frequency or something, or they don't have a very sharp elevation resolution.
Yeah.
Because it's so far to the edge.
Okay.
But so far I get, it's 75,000 miles high and 25.
Yeah.
Approximately.
Do you know something else which is really stupid when you actually think about this series? We talked about it. I used a little bit of a hangout to actually sort of say we're going live next week with the Morgile and Oliver. But in it, what it is we've talked about it. It's just so simple. They've only drilled 12 miles down. So how could they know what's in the centre? And then they'd need to know that to make the perimeter thing of the ball. It's as simple as that. Do you see how?
12 kilometers.
So what I mean is, we're completely brainwashed to think that the Earth has a core and it's a ball and it's spinning. But they've only been 12 miles down, and Oliver's explaining that.
The elevation data is 10.5 kilometers deep to land what is actually above sea.
But you'd need to get to the centre if we were a ball, so you could do the whole radius. But as we've only been 12 miles down, there's no way would they know how big the ball was or anything. It's not a ball anyway, but they can't. It's all just crap. It's like, look how they brainwashed us.
Yeah, they brainwashed us deep, didn't they?
I remember watching as a video about on YouTube which explains them going to the centre of the Earth and all the different layers they're going through. And the miles, like it's God knows how many miles to the centre of the Earth. It's rubbish. They can only go 12 miles down, so how do they know what shape we are?
That's right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to shoot.
Yeah, we've been on for a while. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you'll come back. Thanks a lot, Craig.
Sorry, say that again?
I said you'll hopefully come back. We'll see you soon, and thanks very much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. It was nice to get to know you other guys.
Did you?
And then Karen.
Yeah. See.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
Good night.
Bye, Craig.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Definitely.
Bye.
Take care, bye.
I'm just going to end the hangout now, okay? Because we have been talking for quite a long time. So I'm just going to end the hangout. So, bye, group. Hope you've enjoyed.